Hi! Oh my goodness. I can't believe we're finally here. The first episode of the check-in titled I'm Still Here. This is so amazing. But before we begin, I want to offer a quick trigger warning. In today's episode, I'll be touching on topics related to mental health, self-harm, and self-exit ideation. If that feels too heavy for you right now, please feel free to skip ahead or come back when you're in a safer headspace. Always remember that your well-being comes first. With that being said, hi everyone. Welcome to the check-in, your weekly pause with a little bite. This podcast will dive into mental health, emotional honesty, relationships, and pop culture with real conversations we don't always say out loud. Honest, relatable, and slightly unfiltered. This is the check-in. Yay! I'm still here, 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 here. Oh, I'm still here, here, here. My goodness, I'm so excited. Let me quickly introduce myself. Hi, my name is Amisha, but going forward, I would love if you would call me Moon or Mooney, whatever feels right for you. This is my podcast, The Check-In. It's mostly about checking in with myself, checking in with life, and hopefully checking in with all of you. I created the check-in as a way to finally live in my authenticity. For a long time, it felt as if I was constantly managing how I was perceived. I was sort of kind of curating myself, shrinking myself, masking parts of who I really am just to survive. And quite honestly, that shit got so exhausting. It got so exhausting. So I've decided that I wanted to shed past my insecurities and need to control how I'm perceived by others and just live in my truth. And this podcast is a way of me laying down that mask. There was just a point in my life in the last year or so, to be honest, that everything felt unbearably heavy. I was in such a dark place emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It was a place where it felt that everywhere I turned, I was suffocating. Like, to put it in visual form, I was just in the middle of a pool. Everyone's splashing and having fun, and I'm the one that's sinking down, and nobody is seeing me, hearing me, helping me. I'm thrashing and falling, sinking deeper and deeper. Being in that space, it felt like staying no longer made sense. And I reached a moment where I truly believed that the world and the people whom I loved within it would just continue fine if I wasn't here. And so I attempted to leave it December 5th of 2024. And fortunately, upon waking up afterwards and realizing that I was still here, it was very confusing. It was emotional and it was uncomfortable. It was something that I hadn't planned for. And so I don't know. When you don't plan to still be here, living just feels different. And it almost feels as if you're navigating life without a blueprint, without expectations, and without a future that you've kind of already written off. And so for a while, I didn't know what to do with that. And I was right back in that same space that I tried to escape. I was confused, in a place of confusion and just wondering. I was wandering around, not necessarily physically, but emotionally, mentally, just wandering. I was like in this abyss, if you will, and everything was just blank. But slowly something shifted in me, and to not see this as a failure, but more of a rebirth. It was an unexpected second chance on life, a chance that I could have a reset. And so I began asking myself, if I'm still here, how do I want to live now? Who do I want to be without fear weighing me down? What does authenticity look like when I stop apologizing for existing and just exist? And so this podcast is sort of kind of part of that answer. So it is my hope that the check-in becomes a beacon for anyone struggling silently, for anyone who feels unseen, or anyone who's still here even when they didn't think they would be. It's my hope that this can be healing for others that are dealing with mental health issues. But that's not all that we're going to touch on. Yeah, we're going to journey and navigate through this second chance of life that I've been given, that we've been given. But it's not the only thing. Pain isn't the only thing. We're going to talk about joy. We're going to talk about happiness, the good times. This podcast is not just going to be pain. Now, before everything does get too heavy, I do want to be clear on that, because although we are going to shine light on mental health and the importance of mental health in all things, and we're also going to talk about hot topics, trending tea, music, film, fashion. We're talking video games. We're going to talk pop culture. We're going to talk chaos, as well as just streaming culture. Like, we're going to talk so many different topics, not just mental health, because joy matters too. Happiness matters too. And so, even though I'm now in this space where I'm, I guess, taking the bulls by the horn. I really hate that expression, by the way. Like, I don't know why I just said that, because I really don't like that expression. What the hell does that even mean, taking the bull by the horn? I ain't even seen a bull in real life. But what I'm saying is, I want to use this opportunity and this to do and be me. I, from a young age, can just remember, like, just always placating other people, always shrinking myself down, wanting to be invisible. And I never truly felt comfortable in my own skin, was always wanting to just fade into the background. I was quiet. I was a really quiet kid. And I just thought that if I wasn't seen, nobody could bother me. But that also comes from other things that we'll talk about later on down the road. But yeah, I always felt that people liked you better when you were kind, when you sort of kind of played second fiddle. Nobody really liked the loud girl. Nobody really liked people who express themselves. And although I tend to express myself in such a subtle way or behind closed doors, I was felt free to be me to the world. And how I presented, it was a beast. It was hard. It really was. Like, I wasn't happy with myself. And then as I got older, I started dating, got engaged at such an early age. My God, they just had to do a drag racing right as I'm recording. It's crazy. Um, yeah, but I got engaged at a young age, and I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how life is supposed to go. And then as I got older, I started self-reflecting a lot. Like, I got engaged when I was 17, 18 years old. I know, crazy. But I was in love, and that's what people in love do. When you know you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you get married to them. That's what I wanted. It's going to be a wife and kids, and slowly but surely that did not pan out the way I thought. I So many things in life start getting thrown at you. Think you have the answers that really don't. And looking back, I wish that I would have just taking the time to be a kid and to grow and to just truly understand what it's to be an adult, before I tried to rush to adult decisions. I spent a lot of my early 20s thinking that this is what life is supposed to be: doting wife, you know, taking care of your man, taking care of your house, working, and all the things. But when I got into my mid 20s and my engagement ended, I started to really question who I was as a person outside of that relationship. When I really thought about it, I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. I was just shrouded in blah blah's fiance, blah blah's future wife, like the future Mrs. Blah blah. Like that's all that I wanted to be. And then once that ended, who was this girl outside of being the future Miss Blah blah? I had no idea. 26, 27, not knowing who you are is dangerous. So I started going to bars more. I started hanging out with people who I thought were my friends. Hindsight's 2020. And I started just like trying to live. Quickly realized though, I didn't fit into those boxes. I wasn't the party girl. I wasn't that person. And so constantly trying to force myself into squares that I didn't belong in, it started to add on to the weight that I was already carrying. Who am I supposed to be? And so I created this facade of a person, this person that wasn't really me at all, but this person was liked. This person was tolerated. This person was just the life of the party. It was whom everybody wanted to be around. And so I kept that facade. I wore that mask. I did the things that I felt that I needed to do in order to constantly get this approval. And as I kept going on in life, adding more and more weights onto me, I realized that I was miserable. I was doing things, overindulging in things, food, alcohol, just overindulging on my life, like to try to numb the pain that I was feeling. I spiraled out of control after I lost my mom. And that is where these sort of kind of overindulgences started to really manifest heavily, like just eating just to to feel something. And before I knew it, I was well overweight. I was like at my heaviest, almost 400 pounds. And that in and of itself added more misery because now I don't even find myself to be desirable. I don't even find myself to be pretty. And so now I'm overcompensating, kissing ass, continuously trying to squeeze my ass into spaces where I do not fit and wondering why I'm not getting any kind of sense of joy out of it. I lost complete sight of myself. I didn't even know who I was. I decided to take my life back into my hands, albeit a bit late. And then I lost all that weight. And then when I thought that, okay, I am this new person now, it still all felt fake. Life felt so fake. Like it felt like nothing was real. I was tired. I was so tired by that time. It was just way too late. When I tried to step into my authenticity, people were saying like, oh, you're changing, you're different, you're fake, you're this, you're that. And so I had to revert back into being something that people could tolerate, something that was sweet enough to swallow and not bitter. It was just so overwhelmingly draining to my entire soul. It really was. I didn't know what to do. I didn't. I didn't know how to move, how to operate. I kept turning and turning and turning. And then something happened that sort of kind of became the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I felt like slowly I had lost everything. I've lost my self-respect. I've lost genuine connection. I lost a piece of myself. I really felt that way. I felt I lost myself to a point where, you know, there was no going back from it. I was thrown into something that I quite personally wish was handled differently. But I also am that kind of person that takes it and say, like, you know what, I can't control how this happened or this happened, but I can control how I react to it. And so obviously I reacted in such a horrible way. I don't think I was given any kind of grace. Not that I'm saying I deserved it. I'm saying that I wish it was extended to me. I also wish that every bad thing that happened in that led up to December 5th of 2024, everything that led up to that moment, I wish didn't happen. And such a, like, it all just seemed to pile on. It just all seemed to just like pile on. Like, I was already in a ditch, and then this piled on to me, and then that piled on, and then that piled on, and that piled on. And then it was like, how do I navigate this? Like, someone who's so used to having control over every single thing, I couldn't fathom now I have no control over any realm of my life in this moment. And I'm like grasping, and I'm reaching, and I'm struggling to grasp onto some kind of ledge to pull myself out of. And it seemed like every time I grabbed onto something, it crumbled. And it all just was like, what's the point? What's the point? I came home and I sat on my couch. And again, trigger warning, please skip ahead if this is not what you want. If you're not in a space to receive this information, please. But yeah, I sat on my couch. I didn't even pour a glass of wine. I grabbed the whole bottle, opened it. I was sitting, and I just started drinking glass after glass. That bottle would be done. Went back into my kitchen, grabbed the other bottle I had, brought it back to my couch. And I remember I didn't turn on music. There was nothing playing in my entire apartment. It was silent. It was just me crying, overwhelmed with thoughts, drinking wine on my couch. That I decided that today's going to be the last day for me. I couldn't even fathom waking up tomorrow and having to feel this weight again. I was over it. I was mentally just done, mentally just jumbled. I couldn't do it. Like, just the thought of carrying on, to me, just, I couldn't. I had no gas. I was on fumes. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. So I did it. I went to my medicine cabinet. I grabbed sleeping pills that I was prescribed, and I sent out text messages to my sister first, telling her how much I loved her, my niece, and my nephew, and that I'm so sorry, and that I appreciated her. And then I blocked her so she couldn't text me back. And then I called, and I was on the phone with my really good friend, and I tried to mask like everything was okay. Like, it's just the last person that I wanted to, this is the person that I wanted the last conversation to be with. Like, I wanted to tell her, like, you are my best friend. Love you so much. Thank you so much for being my friend. Like, just trying to make it seem as lighthearted as possible. And, I knew she was busy. She was a flight attendant, so she was like, I have to board my plane. I'll call you tomorrow. I have a free day. Let's plan something for when I come back to see you in a few weeks. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I can't wait to see you. I love you so much. Be safe. I hung up with her and called my um ex at the time, and I apologized to him. I really was really regretful for something that I did, and I apologized, and I was talking to him. And then as I'm talking to him, I started the process of taking these pills, and I hung up with him, and I let my phone die, purposefully let my phone die, because I didn't want anybody trying to call me, trying to reach out to me in any kind of way, trying to stop my decision that they had no idea that I decided to do anything, you know? And I sat on my couch and I took a handful of pills, chased it down with wine, finished the rest of my wine, and everything went dark after. Somewhere between that action and waking up, I felt angry, annoyed for sure. I was so annoyed. I was annoyed at the fact that I opened my eyes, and instead of being in limbo somewhere, I'm back, like in reality. I remember feeling just annoyed and angry and just mad. Like I was so mad. Like first thought I had was, should I try again? So I go, I was like, this is what I need to do. Like, I should just try again. Like, maybe it was a fluke. Maybe I didn't do something right. Maybe I didn't take enough. Maybe, like, this is like all that my mind is like, fuck, what's going on? Like, why did I wake up? I got admitted into a facility, inpatient, which I definitely want to talk about on another episode. I really want to touch on that time in my life because I felt as if that place made me a little worse off mentally. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I went while I was in this place. I still couldn't shed this mask. I still couldn't shed this mask. Like, I still wanted to control the narrative of this is me. Like, I'm just so loving and caring and like, I love life. Like, I'm just a happy go lucky person. Like, I can't believe that I'm in this place either. Like, no, I needed to be there. That's number one. I definitely needed to be there. I had needed to be there. I've been needed to be there. If there was like a waiting list, I should have been on it because I should have been in there VIP. I should have been admitted somewhere. But once I was discharged, still trying to keep up this facade, I got my outpatient count therapist and everything like that. And in the very first appointment, she asked me how I was doing. And I said, no, I'm doing great. I'm fine. Like everything is okay. Just taking it day by day. Like I had literally cried the day of the just miserable. The day of the appointment, crying, bawling my eyes out, miserable, hated it. I'm back in my apartment, like I'm miserable as fuck. We talked. She's like going over some things with me, asking how I feel on a scale of 1 to 10, if I feel like I wanted to self exit again. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, but I didn't want to go back to that place that I was just discharged from. So I was like, no, I'm feeling fine. Like I'm great. Couldn't be further from the truth. My second appointment is where the mask started to crumble. And I knew she could tell. She asked me how I was doing. And I said, oh no, I'm fine. Like everything was okay for the most part. And she goes, how can I help you if you're going to lie to me? And I was like, ooh. And not her clocking my tea. She was like, how can I help you if all you're going to do is lie? Like, you have to be honest with yourself. You can't be honest with me if you're not honest. You're not okay. You know you're not okay. I know you're not okay. I don't know you that well to know what's really bothering you, but I know enough to know that you're not okay. Until the moment you stop lying to yourself, then you'll stop lying to me, you'll stop lying to other people, and you'll allow me and others to be there for you and to help you through whatever it is that's going on with you. Mask cracked in half, fell. I started crying right then and there. I said, "You're absolutely right. I'm not okay." Every single day, I'm thinking, what can I do to make it permanent? My self exit. And, she gave me like some tips and things to do. I'm not a big journaler, which is one of the things she wanted me to do. She asked if I thought I needed inpatient, immediately said no, please God, no. Not that again. And so I started to journal. I started not in a traditional way. I started just to write in my notes. That's what I did. My notes on my iPhone, I just started writing my notes. And I started streaming a lot more. During that time, I streamed like every single day. Just every day. That helped me. But also, I listened to music. Every single waking minute, I was listening to music. I was watching TV and films. That's what I did. So music really carried me through last year. From the beginning to the end, it carried me through it. The tracks felt like therapy sessions to me. Each song, each artist, they kind of held me together, and it kind of made me feel understood in a way. I listened to SZA, The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, Janae Aiko, Meg Thee Stallion. I listened to Moneybagg Yo. I listened to Glorilla. Like, I listened to so many different artists and so many different songs, but each song that I found that came across my desk was sort of kind of like it was meant for me to hear. It was made for me to hear. And so I listened enthusiastically to each song, let it run through me, course through me, let it feel like medicine to my brain. Can't even imagine a world or a life without music. And so indirectly, it made sense why, in that final moment where I wanted to go away, I didn't want to listen to music because I didn't want it to sway any kind of it. I didn't want it to push me out of that mindset. Like, I was so determined to go. And so music had became such a huge coping tool for me. I started writing music, recording music that'll probably never see the light of day. Maybe it will. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, music became a tool for me. But it wasn't just music that gave me a sense of purpose. I started rewatching anime One Piece. One Piece was like a saving grace for me as well. I became fixated on going to see movies every weekend, going to see different genres of movies, not just movies that I like, my genre of choice. I started seeing any kind of movie, just wanting to distract, especially when I started to slip back in a similar mind frame. I needed to pivot and distract myself while I was in the process of finding the root of why I was feeling that way. So I just grasped onto little bits of happy moments to distract before I was able to pivot back into finding what was the root issue for the feeling, what was causing me to feel the way that I was feeling. Bills, job, anything. Like, once I got out of the emotion, redirected myself, I was able to come back to it with a clear mind and work through it. It felt like it was working for me. And so, like I said, I started streaming a lot more, watching gameplay for different video games. Shout out Fortnite and Epic Games for holding me down a lot during that time. But also, I'm just so happy that I'm still here to see GTA 6 get delayed again. And honestly, no, that is kind of funny to me because I'm back. GTA 6, I can't wait. I can't wait. That's all I'm going to be playing. That's all I'm going to stream. 24 hours stream GTA 6. If you don't follow me on Twitch, you should. It Girl Money. But there was so many things that came out of it. So many beautiful things, so much clarity that came from that self-exit attempt that now I feel like I'm a completely different person, even though I'm still me. I've grown a lot. And so leaving 2025, it was such a very emotional departure for me. It was my 1 year anniversary leading into the new year, and to me that's sort of kind of like symbolic, because a year ago I was low, and now I'm in such a healthy mindset, in such a positive space. I'm so just in awe of my growth, but I'm also so proud of myself. And I didn't want this first episode to drag on too long, but I just want to give a quick thank you to everybody who clicked play on this podcast. It was something that I've been doing just on stream, and I decided like I wanted to make this a podcast. I wanted to reach more people than just the people in the community. Like I want to reach anybody who may be struggling, who may be in the dark and just don't see a bright light. And I would love to be that light for you. So as I wrap up today's first episode, I just want to say thank you. You reminded me that my voice matters, my story matters, and that although it almost ended, there's a new chapter that's waiting to be written. And I can't wait to share it with all you guys. So thank you to everyone who decided to listen today, to sit with me, to share this space with me. My hope is that this podcast grows into a beautiful, honest community, one rooted in vulnerability, laughter, healing, and connection. I just also want to give a quick thank you to myself for, although I'm scared and I'm very nervous even while I'm recording this, you still push through and you're doing it. And for that, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so thankful for my strength to continue to push forward every single day. And so, with that being said, I look forward to checking in with you all again next week. Till then, peace and love, everybody.